Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Adam and welcome back to the continuation of installing P3D in my setups and all my add-ons and everything. And so in this one we're going to go through the installation, but not only the installation but how to easily reinstall things at a later date if it gets messed up and things have to go bye-bye and stuff like that. So my intention for what I'm doing is to separate my sim from all my add-ons. I mean, I've got a lot of add-ons. And I'm not going to go through the process of actually installing it onto your system. I mean, if you've gone and you've purchased a license, it's pretty simple. You know the process. You get an email with it's your invoice. You'll have a download link in. You click that. It'll take you to your sort of account. You have to log in with your license information and your customer information. And you can download the files, which you see here. It's just easy, these files. You can download them to your computer, and I keep them on my hard drive backed up. What you can do is if there is just a client update, or if there is just a content update, or just a scenery update, you can then go and download just that one specific thing. So basically, I mean, and you know how it's done. You set up, you go through the process, and then when you run it for the first time, obviously, I've yet to run it for the first time because I haven't got that's my OneDrive, man. What's going on? That's the file I want. As you can see, I've not run it for the first time yet because I haven't got any files here except for my old installation. I've saved that by putting a 0 on it, and it saved all my settings for everything, as well as all my flights that I've done. So when I reinstall now, I can import that information and all my settings are saved. I don't have to rejig anything. So yeah, when you obviously run it for the first time, you activate your license and you're good to go. It starts then building the files on your drive in order, you know, for it to fill out the rest of this folder. So this isn't a complete sim folder. This is just a little bit of it. And when you run it for the first time, there'll be a lot more files here. You'll see a few more in that list, and that's what we're up to basically. So yeah, so I'm gonna go activate my license, and we're gonna run it for the first time. So there we go. Obviously, when you run it for the first time, it has to create the database. It has to create everything. And obviously I haven't got the add-ons put in yet, but it'll create the database for your scenery files, which is the basic. So this is completely default, guys. There's absolutely nothing in here have been added, so I don't need to okay that. But yeah, basically this is it. And this is default weather, this is default airport, default aircraft. In fact the aircrafts are pretty slim pickings when you have it. What I tend to do as well is I tend to go through this list. So for instance, I choose like the best looking one, so for instance this one, and I'll favorite it, and then maybe choose another one, and that way it doesn't have to load every single plane into this list. I just click the show only favorites, and then I've only got like a handful to choose from. And it's just a nice, easy way to keep it simple, you know? So we will do that, but we'll load up the actual default. We'll just load up the default plane for now. Now let's go flying, mate. In fact, I've just realized I haven't configured the controls. So this control system ain't gonna work. I'm gonna have to configure that. So just bear with me a moment. The mouse, as you can see, doesn't move anything. Chase plane hasn't been installed. ORBX hasn't been installed. Nothing's been installed. In fact, the control system hasn't even been installed. I need to import that. I need to come out and go into my documents. And in here, I do have my controls. There they are. And I just cut that. And come down here. There it is. And then paste that in there. So now we can import. There we have it. Open that up. And now all my old controls will be here. So if we OK that, we should be good to go. And let's rev those engines. So this is totally default to the point where my eyes ain't working because Chase Plane ain't installed. So I can't actually look around. I can't even use the mouse to look around. We've completely lost the ability because Chase Plane needs to be installed. So we will try and see the world. Right, gear up, working correctly, and it is. So there we go. So this is the world in which we have. And if we check out our frame rate, it's sat at 30. Beautiful, just like I want. Our cockpit view zoom, though, is a bit out. This is supposed to be Florida, but it looks a bit dry to me. It's more like a desert. Clouds look nice, look at that. But this is basically default P3D, guys. This is what, out of the box, it looks like. It would perform a lot better, but I haven't actually jimmied my settings yet, but it's smooth as silk, I tell you. Look at that, man. It's all dry desert here. Look at this. What's going on? Where's all the, where's everything, man? Florida's turned brown all of a sudden. Ah. So this is out of the box P3D. So if we go to Spot and have a look at it, this is what it looks like. So, basically, what we're going to do now, back in the cockpit, come in for a landing, I think. We're going to now start to install stuff. So this is what it looks like before ORBX gets involved. And in the next video, I'm going to install Chase Plane and all of ORBX that I have, which includes changing this landscape considerably. Or actually, no, first off, I'll tell you what we'll do in this video. Is let me just exit out of here, because as you can see, if we go to graphics, right, the settings, look at this, it's loaded up very low quality textures. The world settings are all like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to exit out of this, right, exit, and we're going to now head in, exit out of that. We're now going to head into this is the original files. So I have different settings for various things. Horses for courses, basically. I don't need my 4K ones. I'm going to use, I can't remember which day and time it was on that one. Mega Scenery. I got Matt's a PMDG and a Rob one. And we're going to cut them and we're going to put them in this one. So it will load in some defaults. So basically all the same again, but this time we're going to go to Options. And we're going to utilize, I think it's daytime. Nope, that's 4K. There we go, that one. So these are now the settings I use for my sim. Quite different, as you can see. If it performs for the worst, then I just basically delete those files that I've put in, and it goes right back to what it was before. Right, so now we can take off. It does look kind of different. My zoom level hasn't changed. That will change when Chase Plane comes into effect, but it does look a bit different. You can see here there is a difference in the zoom level. So let's take this sucker to the air and see if there's a difference in the performance. Everything looks a little sharper as well, I must say. Get up. Gear up. And look, the world looks different as well. Look at this. The airport here looks slightly different. I would say that the world looks a little different as well. Vegetation, buildings. Performance is dead set on 30. It's rock solid. It's not moving. CPU and GPU usage are hanging just below 50, which is good. But this is default world, so we haven't input ORBX yet. So we'll be looking to see how much that usage goes up. It shouldn't go up by that much, to be honest. The clouds haven't changed. The only thing that's really changed is the view, and that's it. And that will change again once ORBX gets involved with chase plane as well. And that'll happen in the next video, guys. We're going to come back, and I'll have already input ORBX. But as you can see, the ground textures down there are sharper. My settings really, I feel, have enhanced this. The draw distance goes out further. I wish I could move my head around, but sadly I can't. Textures do look a little bit different than they did before, but it's rock solid on 30 frames per second, so that's good enough for me. Right, so just gonna obviously there are a few settings that are still there that haven't changed, but and it's simple with ORBX. You just literally run ORBX and it will load everything in. Now, I haven't changed my file structure since I uninstalled everything, but I didn't touch ORBX, so all my settings and everything should still be here. It's just updated, so there shouldn't be anything there. The libraries haven't changed. They're still in the same file structure as they were before. My insertion point, there is no insertion point at the moment. My products here should be all in there, ready to go. Yes. Nothing. There's a couple of things I haven't installed yet or I haven't downloaded to the drive, but the majority of the stuff is in there, including chase plane. So that should now be working fine. So if we exit out of that. Okay, so we're back in now. Everything's loaded up. We can even go to our add-ons section, and it will show us all the add-ons from ORBX that we've just loaded in. Now I'm going to untick pretty much everything here, except for the stuff that is in America, because we're not going to be using anything in Europe. We will keep global airports, global buildings. We don't need Iceland. We don't need the Europlan class. Or the South American one. We don't need anything north or in Australia, and we'll just untick everything. There we go. So that's everything unticked, except for what we are going to be using, which we don't need Wales, which is global airports, global buildings HD, North American land class, and the trees. We'll okay that. It's now going to create a CFG file in our program data file folder, and it will basically be it'll be add-ons.cfg, and now it's just writing it to that file. There we go. Now if we go into the scenery, it'll only have loaded what we want it to load here and here. So I always find it's important to check this just before every flight and make sure that nothing is ticked that you don't want to be ticked, even in the scenery file, because just because it was an add-on doesn't mean there's something might be in here that that's not needed, you know? Like for instance, if we're flying in America, we don't need European mesh and Asian and African mesh. We don't need that loading. That's not needed. We're in Florida, so we're in the bottom. We don't even need Oceania or South America. So all that mesh here, which is what Africa to South America is, it's just mesh. It's not needed. So we just okay off that. It rewrites the scenery database to not include any of that, and it loads a bit faster. And now we can load into our sim, and it should be pretty snazzier than it would have been. You know, it's still going to be slow because now it's loading in all the ORBX stuff as well. and we'll come back when it's fully loaded. Right, so there we go, it's loaded in now. We can get rid of the menu bar, and here we are. And now we are in the world of ORBX. Okay, so I ran the sim, and it came up with, well, it didn't come up with an error. It's just Chase Plane wasn't working because it didn't automatically load when I started the sim, which it usually does, but I had to run it manually, and then it said, by the way, there's an error in your CFG file. Now you need to run it separately. So now I've run it separately. This should now work now and load up properly. I shouldn't need to mess with any of my add-ons because I've already deselected them, but I'll just double check it to make sure. There we go, and everything's just loaded in now fine, and we should be able to use our chase plane, which we can. Oh, and we're off. Oh yeah, okay, if you like, we will. Okay, so hopefully everything will be working as normal now. There we go. And if we go outside, can the buttons work? Yes, they do. Right, so there we go. So Florida, if we have a look. Ah, now we can turn our head. Yes. Oh, hey. Hang on. So now everything's working. Oh gosh, I'm inverted. There we go. And there's ORBX now. Now, see, now that's looking a little bit better for Florida. It's still not perfect. You know, I prefer photoreal textures below rather than what ORBX gives us, but it's better than in default. I'll give ORBX that. Much better than default. I mean, look at that down there. That looks amazing. Perfect. Little glitch in the matrix there, but still holding the 30 frames. And yeah, let's see what it looks like from the outside. Oh yeah, baby, that's what we want. That's what we're talking about, isn't it? How does it go that way? There you go. Oh yeah, that's what you need. And there. Boom, Top Gun. Alright, so there we go. That's ORBX in here. And when I say ORBX, we're using the land class information. We're not using the vector information. We are using, oh, look at that. That looks nice, that does. In fact, I need to slow down, man. I'm going like 900 miles an hour. My gosh. I'm surprised my scenery can keep up. It is actually going off a little blurry here. I am going too fast, though. That's the thing. Like, that looks fine now. That looks better. I was going way too fast before. So we'll slow our engines right down. There we go. Much better. Much better. There we go. Nice and sharp. That's what we like to see. Yeah, sorry. I haven't got vector in here. I've got land class. I've got global base. And I've got something else, but I can't remember. No regions because we're in Florida. Airports, no airports HD. That's the default airport down there. That's why it looks scabby. Pretty much, yeah, that's it. So basically what I'm going to do now is we're going to go away and I'm going to install, in fact, let's have a look at the nighttime preview of the night. Because I use, for myself, I use Chris Bell's night lighting system. So this is what, gosh, there ain't no night lighting system. There we go, that's better. This is the default night lighting system that, not ORBX, because I haven't got that installed or activated. This is just literally default. This is what P3D give us. See? Just a basic, very basic. I mean, Florida, there's not much night lighting anyway. Let me turn around and let's have a look here. Follow that road there. There's not much night lighting anyway, but what you do get, if we can turn a bit more, there we go, is basic. Look at that, very basic. So what I'm going to do in the next video is we're going to install Chris Bell's night lighting system and vector information, and we'll see what difference that makes, if any. but it's definitely going to be better than this. Look at that. That's just rubbish. I mean, that's basic, isn't it? So, yeah, basically. It's getting a bit glitchy because I'm running it in preview mode. I'm not actually in the night time. I'm actually in the daytime, so I cancel that. It just suddenly goes to day. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll see everybody later, guys. Thank you for watching this video. In the next video, we're going to be installing a few bits and pieces more. And join us then on our road to rebuilding the sim. And we're also going to go through the XML route. All right, take care. Bye-bye.